Running with the runners. 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 Running with the runners.
All right, welcome in. You are running with the runners. It's Tuesday, December 23rd, 2025. Happy Festivus, everyone. Merry Christmas. And of course, M.I.M.S, we got to celebrate. Silver hits a new all-time high. We're at $72 right now. Gold. Bro, gold at 4,500. Welcome in, Ricardo Hamilton. M.I.M.S, what's going on, bro?
Man, I'd have been excited as always, man. We've been telling people from day one, okay, for years, that this time was going to come. And honestly, folks, we're just getting started. Understand something, that this is just confirmation. This market has been manipulated and rigged for generations. And we're going to see something that we've never seen before, because that's just the time period that we're in. We're in historic times. These are apocalyptic times, great awakening times. And we're seeing that with these metals rising. And folks, I hope you're ready. I hope you're accumulating assets. I hope you're getting silver and gold at cost and at the best prices. This is the time to accumulate physical assets, okay? Because like I said before, there might come a time where you won't be able to get it. Either you won't be able to afford it, or you won't be able to get it at all. There's a lot of news coming out of China. They're not even going to let silver leave their country. Whole lot of stuff going on, folks. So I'm fired up and excited, brother. This is what we've been talking about for years. We knew this was coming. The Great Reset, the largest wealth transfer in history. 2026 is going to be a phenomenal year. Phenomenal year, brother. How you doing?
I cannot wait. And M.I.M.S, think about how many times we have done a live looking at infinite market cap and gold at 31.3 trillion market cap, over $4,500 now.
Wow.
But of course, the big mover, silver, number 3. It used to be down here.
Oh yeah.
Now we're at 71.97, up 8% this week.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time. Yeah, it's coming for NVIDIA, and that's where it should be. You have to understand, how can the underlying asset not be more valuable than the product that's produced from it? So we're going to see this top 4 and 5. I'm seeing gold, silver, platinum, palladium, copper, and then you have the companies.
Exactly.
That's how you're going to see that. You know what I mean? So yeah, silver is definitely number 2. Gold will always be number 1. We'll probably see platinum rise, palladium, and then we'll see copper. Copper is going to be rising as well. It's just amazing when you look at how much, $1,000 or $500 could have got you in silver, a year ago versus today. When you just count the weight, the amount of coins that you could have gotten, it's drastic. That's why it's so important to get physical and get it now while you can. But yeah, I mean, not surprising seeing silver where it is right now. And that's just at 71. Folks, silver's going to $100. It's going to hundreds of dollars in 2026. Okay. $300, $600. Silver's going much higher. Trust and believe. We're just getting started. There's an easy 10x from here with physical silver. And that's probably modest, okay, compared to what we're looking at.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to get into next, is really just seeing what is, possible. As always, Jim Rickards is one of the greatest, kind of wealth advisors here. So he breaks down the trajectory silver expected to reach in 2026. And again, guys, he's very conservative. So we just want to, give you his perspective, which is kind of basically what we both think as well.
So if gold goes there, you wouldn't be surprised if silver went where?
So silver's along for the ride. You at that point you're looking at $200 an ounce. I mean that's not even a stretch. The people talk about the gold to silver ratio. You can calculate it. It's just a number. There is no fixed ratio. This goes back to some 19th century lobbying campaign by silver miners. People talk about 16-1. That was a political lobbying thing. There's nothing natural about it. Having said that, there's no way gold's going to where we're talking about $5,000 to $10,000 an ounce. The silver's not going to move also, which it will. So $200 silver would be in the same vein as gold going to to $10,000 an ounce.
It just feels like to me, Jim, that silver is almost finally able to shine through and is showing its true price. Somehow it's broken free of its chains.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. Silver lags. I mean, gold will lead the way, but silver's along for the ride, but it does lag. But now the lag has caught up and silver's taken on a life of its own.
So, M.I.M.S, your thoughts here? We're finally seeing the 200-year suppression of the silver price taken out. The shorts have been defeated, and $200, I think, is very conservative. I mean, I think realistically, without even being crazy, I think $600 silver is what it should be an ounce.
Yeah, this is the thing. Gold is mostly stored. Historically, it is the preservation of wealth that governments and central banks hold. But silver is something very special about silver that gold doesn't have. And I would not be surprised if we see gold close that ratio gap that he talked about to 1-to-1. Silver, when you realize the industrial demand for it, and you realize the military demand for it, and then you realize the lack of available supply, and then you add that on with the solar panel demand, and you add it on with the AI, just the electricity needed for this new economy, this new digital era, technological era that we're moving into. Silver is still massively undervalued. It's the most undervalued physical asset on the planet. There's no real chart to really chart silver at, because the dynamics, because of the generational rigging and manipulation by central banks and JP Morgan, because of the massive use of silver, and we're going to see the supply market essentially be evaporated. There's no supply. The demand is growing. So I think silver is, and Jim was being very modest, as you should be. But I think we're going into a cycle here that we're going to see things that are unprecedented, that nobody could have really even predicted take place as this debt-based fiat model, this economy that we're in based off fiat currency collapses. And as we usher in a new blockchain-based, asset-based economy, massively undervalued, folks. You gotta get it. Massively undervalued.
Yeah, and so just from silver's real all-time high adjusted for the M2 money supply growth, in 1980, guys, silver hit $50 an ounce. Think about that. Think about how few dollars there were in the world in 1980 versus today, and that's when it hit $50. So if we just adjust for how many dollars have been created for then, that puts us at $744 an ounce today for the same purchasing power, which is way higher than the CPI numbers, but M2 exposes the inflation beast, undervalued at $70. Of course it is. So again, just adjusting for inflation from the all-time high, we're at 744. That doesn't count what Ricardo's talking about, how we keep using silver. It's an industrial metal. Countries are starting to hoard it. China's not going to let any silver leave. And then once that happens, then Mexico will probably do the same thing, right? And then it becomes unobtainium. Like, you will not be able to get it because it's such a valuable metal. And then we bring in the EVs, the electronic vehicles we talked about last week, where the new Samsung battery needs 50 kilograms of silver. I mean, bro, this is game over. In my lifetime, silver's over $1,000 for sure.
Listen, silver's going to be more valuable than gold.
I think so. I think it already is.
Silver's going to be more valuable than gold. And when you look at the chart that he pulled up, one thing you got to understand, M2 money supply is just a Federal Reserve creation. Do you know that the banks have something called fractional reserve lending, that they're loaning out? They're creating money that from that money you put in the bank, they're creating 10 more, multiplying it on the fractional side. So you talk about the inflation, that was just the Federal Reserve inflation. That's not including the bank creating the inflation from fractional reserve lending. We're talking about, and if that's the case, I see that 700, you need to 10x that. I see silver at 7,000 an ounce. I mean, when you're starting to when the economy functions the way it's supposed to, you have to understand that one of the reasons they got rid of President Kennedy was because of Executive Order 11110. And he bypassed the Federal Reserve and he created silver certificates, okay? And they were backed by physical silver, 1 ounce of $1, right? And so, or whatever the number was backed by an ounce. I don't know if it was actual a dollar, I have to check it. But the point is that you can't have more paper money generally than you have more metal to back it. And so with all the money creation, not just the M2, but literally all the inflation out there. And then Mike, what's the numbers? Since COVID, after COVID, the last 5 years, they printed 80% of currency or debt that we see today. Like in the last 5 years, we printed more currency than they printed in the last 200.
Yes.
I mean, it's ridiculous. So silver, even at 700, is still modest. It's massively modest because once you understand that, you know, Samsung came out with the solid state battery. They're buying up the silver that doesn't even exist yet.
Yep.
Okay. So they're buying up silver that hasn't even been pulled out of the ground. But right now we'll find support. We'll find articles saying that they're finding new deposits of gold and things of that nature. They're not finding any silver mines. You don't see something. You don't see an article where they say we've just found a new silver mine or this country found a new silver mine. No, you see them saying it about gold. You're saying they find more gold and things of that nature, but they're not finding more silver. And silver is a byproduct of like copper, lead, and zinc. When they go mining for copper, when they go mining for lead and zinc, they find silver. But there aren't really any mines that just have silver alone in it.
Right.
So you have to understand how it comes out of the ground, how it comes to market, the multiple uses for it in the market, because silver is antimicrobial, antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal. And now we have governments and private institutions and the wealthy realizing that the new economy, because this ain't the industrial era anymore. This is AI. This is automation. This is blockchain. This is robotics. This is massive demand of electricity. Massive demand for silver, the most electrical conductive metal on the planet. So really, there's nobody can really give you, we're in uncharted territory, okay? We're in uncharted territory when it comes to the price of silver, especially as we're seeing governments like China, which I mentioned, I'm sure we're probably gonna pull it up, no longer allowing silver to come out of their country, and other dynamics that are just making this unaffordable and unobtainium.
Yeah. So right now, guys, listen, I'm still buying silver. We always buy assets because we always know the dollar's going to go down. But the real question here is, what is down right now, right? What is nobody talking about except for maybe the runners, right? That you should be looking at, that you should be buying right now. You know, maybe you didn't listen to us for the last 6 years when silver was $14, $20, $22. And we kept telling you exactly what was going to happen. And now it's come to fruition, right? We told you the big banks were shorting the markets. They literally, there's like 10 banks. They shorted the markets. Finally, the reality of too little silver and too many buyers has finally been exposed, right? So now the question is, what are you going to do, right? That's why I named this Silver and Texit Save Christmas, right? Silver saved this Christmas, but look at how long it took us, right? Look at the long-term thinking Ricardo and all the runners had of investing in silver for that long. And so now here we are in the same point, M.I.M.S. And I just want to be like, listen, let's look at the value, not at the price. So this week, the First National Bank issued a stable coin. SoFi has a fully reserved US dollar stable coin, the first national bank to issue that on a permissionless blockchain. So guys, this is why we always say you need both, right? I can't stand it, M.I.M.S. When silver and gold people get into these arguments with crypto and blockchain people about gold and silver, and they're like Bitcoin and crypto. It's like, guys, you need both, right? Bitcoin, crypto, NVIDIA, the future, AI, all this thing that's happening, you need silver, right? That's the future. But the base, your foundation is your insurance is in those physical metals in your own possession.
Yeah, without a doubt. You got to understand that real things are becoming valuable, and they're going to be blocked. They're going to be backing the digital things. Okay.
Yes.
And the blockchain and the physical assets are getting married right now. Okay. We're going to see the marriage of gold and silver on the blockchain, backing assets. Okay. That's the new economy. And Jim Rickards, he actually talked about it before. He said that, central banks and governments, they'll have their gold and it will be on a blockchain and it will be, their CBDC, but it will be backed by gold. And that's how they would trade on a public verifiable ledger, and everything's transparent and it's backed by real money, God's money, gold, gold and silver. And so this situation is evolving. We're going to see multiple currencies, multiple. I mean, there's going to be hundreds of stable coins out there. Private institutions, banks will have their own, major companies will have their own. I mean, there's going to be hundreds of stable coins. Everything's going to be interoperable. Okay, one blockchain easily communicating with another. The way AI is getting ready to run through this stuff with automation, I mean, things are ready to take off light speed. But understand, the advancement of AI, the advancement of the blockchain and crypto space is creates a more demand for energy, a more demand for electricity, a more demand for silver. Okay. And there are technologies and there are inventions and things that haven't even been introduced to the public yet that are going to cause an even greater demand for silver than we realize. You see, everybody's excited right now because Samsung just released that they have a solid state battery and it uses a kilo of silver. Well, Samsung knew that for how long? There's stuff that you don't even know that companies are working on. Department of Defense is working on, where they're just going to, at the last minute, lock up a significant amount of supply of silver, and you won't even know to the last minute. And this is why I tell people all the time, I'd rather be 1 year or even 2 years too early than 1 day too late to the largest wealth transfer in history. There are things happening behind the scenes that you and I are unaware of. But I'm going to tell you right now, whatever those things are, they need these rare earth strategic minerals. It's not by accident that the United States under Trump and China and all these other countries are labeling silver now a strategic metal. Strategic. That means it's vital. Okay, that means it's on a whole nother classification. So not only are we talking about tier 1 assets, but we're talking about strategic assets. And now it's returning to its role as money. It's not just industrial, military, and advancements in technology. We're talking about it's returning to its role as money. Folks, we've never been here before. People have no understanding and comprehension of how great this wealth transfer is going to be and how wide and just liberating and empowering it is. That's going to affect people's lives who are in position right now.
So we see gold and silver moving all-time highs, right? And I think once this crypto market structure bill that's coming from the new CFTC chairman, Congress presents Donald Trump and he signs it, that's when I think the real crypto boom takes off. So we've been telling you guys gold and silver is your base. That's what you need. But again, it comes down to value. So M.I.M.S this week, right? We looked at the hash rate of Texit. All right. Texit, layer 1, proof of work blockchain that again
made in America,
real physical miners, guys. Yeah. So this week before we were around 1 terahash, and it's been that way for months. Okay. And then a part of the mine in Conroe went up this week, right? And we are at 5 terahashes now, guys. So the value of Texit, right? Because again, the value here is the physical miners that we're purchasing, that we're crowdsourcing to build one of the biggest mines in America. Okay. The actual value went from 1 to 5, right? A 5x. But like we said, a lot of times the price doesn't reflect that. So in the last week or two, there's been a sell-off of Texit. And we knew this was going to happen. We told you guys this was going to happen, right? In September, we go from, $1 $2 all the way almost up to $7. Anytime a chart, right, guys, this is just basic market stuff. So the people new to crypto don't know this, right? They're thinking the sky is falling, and Ricardo and I are over here buying, right? And so you look at Texit, we went down about 86%. You can see it right here, 86%, okay? From the top to the bottom, all right? And I got a little bit under $1 yesterday, around 80 cents or so. We're back up to 126, okay? Smart people are buying right now. But again, MEMS, we did this on the training. When you look at Bitcoin, right? When Bitcoin first came out in 2017, same thing. I find out about Bitcoin. I'm telling everyone, my friends, my family, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest thing ever. I got in around, it was like 2-3 grand. Goes all the way up to 20,000. And then crashes back down to 3,000, right? Came down 85%.
Yep.
Do you think they listened? Do you think they were buying then? No. They said the same thing they're saying today about Texit. Oh, it's a pump and dump. Oh, it's a scam. Oh, it's a Ponzi, right? And so again, guys, it comes down to your conviction, right? You getting educated on the future of the digital revolution that we're going through. So the same way, people would lose interest, MEMS, they'd be like, oh, guys, you've been talking about silver forever. It's still worth $24, $25, $26. This is never going to go anywhere. And we told you guys, anytime the price of something valuable drops, okay, like Texit, where we're dealing with real world physical miners, where we're dealing with a layer 2 that is going to get adoption, right, for the downtown digital dollar, where festivals and fairs and other local economic communities are going to be using it. You have to see the value there, right? If you just go by the price, you will always lose, because you will always buy high and you will always sell low.
That's right.
So MEMS, as we always say, brother, focus on the value, not the price, because they're almost counter opposite, right? Anytime the price is up, you should be selling. When the price is down, you should be buying.
Man, that was well said, brother. Sound money clap for you. And that was well said, brother. Well said.
Let's go.
Yeah, he hit it on the nail, folks. He hit it on the nail. Even I ain't got to make it make sense on that one. I mean, listen, people who get into investing, there's a certain mindset you have to develop, okay? And you have to look at things over a time horizon, and you have to understand market cycles, and you cannot be emotional, okay? You have to look at the value. You have to look at the use case, and you look utility. You have to look at the community. And even then, sometimes all that is irrelevant, because when you look at meme coins, okay, meme coins have no real use case, but they have community and people believe in it. And that gives it value to where some meme coins are billions of dollars in market cap. Okay. But here we have actually a physical mining infrastructure that needs electricity, that needs equipment, that is being ran and processing a layer 1 blockchain that is being built upon, that is gaining an adoption and attraction globally, that has had massive success already, created millionaires already, and now is in a buy zone, an opportunity for people who found out about it at a higher price to realize that the value is still there. You see, when I look at what's going on with the charts, first thing I want to understand, has the fundamentals changed? And in fact, if you see what Mike just showed you, the fundamentals got better. The hash rate just did a 4x, 5x?
5x.
5x. So the value of the blockchain has gotten better.
Yep.
While the prices went down. Well, you know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of the crypto market right now. Do you know how much bullish news we have had since Trump entered the administration? Said we're going to make crypto the capital of the world in the United States. You know how much banking legislation has been passed, Genius Act and everything else? We got Clarity Act. We got all these friendly blockchain and crypto people in the administration. We got all these massive developments, one like Mike just showed you, in banks, and everybody rolling out stable coins. We know where this is going, but look at crypto and altcoins right now. SHX, all these, down down big
Let's
time.
let's go through a couple MIMs just to show people. And again, especially for the people new in Texit, I get it. This is your first roller coaster, right? You're not used to it, right? But what is the best time when you're riding a roller coaster? That first hill, you go way up really high, and then it's always the best, right? You're going down fast,
Yeah.
and that adrenaline rush hits, right? So we're gonna go through a couple just to document here, guys. At the end of the year, this is Tau, okay? Tau bit tensor right now. I've been buying all week. All right, has hit almost $800. Okay, now sitting at 210. I'm like, thank God I can buy more Tau. I think M.I.M.S is getting ready to buy some more, guys. We're at 210. I mean, look at this, guys. We're basically at the all-time low of Tau since it took off, and this is going back to what? Where are we at here? A long time ago.
Yeah.
Before
I gotta buy $1,000 worth of Tau. I gotta put 1,000 in Tau. I'm watching the markets,
guys. Again, like, just think about this, guys. Right?
Oh, no.
Look at this. This is Supra. Let me go back to a regular.
And this when you talk about the fundamentals and knowing the technology,
exactly,
and then knowing the community comes in, because what we're doing right now is documentation. You know, we've done videos with silvers, like you said, $20, $17, it hits 30, smacks the ceiling, cracks back down. But when the narrative changes, when the chart changes, you just wish you had bought at the bottom.
Yep.
You know, but yeah, go ahead, Mike.
So Supra, this is I'm not telling you to, well, you know, you guys can do whatever you want. I never tell you to buy anything, but Supra has been above 5 cents. Okay.
Yeah, I think
and this was because of the market and people were just buying, right? And Ricardo and I watched it just bleed out and bleed out and bleed out and bleed out. And so now we're to the point where we're at less than 1/10 of a penny from 5 cents to 1/10 of a penny. Now, what has changed with Supra? Nothing. They've gotten better. They've gotten better developers. They've gotten more DeFi. But because, for a lot of reasons, the macro, the liquidity in the market, right? The narrative right now, no one's buying Supra. The price is super low. So guess what Ricardo and I are doing? We're buying Supra, right? You have to do it when there's blood, there's fear. No one's talking about it. Guys, you don't get rich and wealthy when the price is going up.
It's the truth.
You got to go against the grain and what everyone else is doing. When everyone's calling you an idiot, why are you buying silver, guys? Silver's not going anywhere, right? It's never going to pop out. The banks are going to keep controlling it, right? You have to have faith and always, in my opinion, do a counter narrative, right? SHX, M.I.M.S. Let's listen to SHX. Stronghold. I'll let you go ahead. But
yeah, no, I mean, same thing where, I mean, these, you know, like Tau, it's at its support base level. I mean, when you saw Tau, when you see Super right now, it's pretty much at that point where just a base support level. I mean, this is a perfect buy zone for this asset. And given, I think like you said, once we go into the beginning, first quarter, but maybe January, going into February of 2026, these assets aren't going to be where they are right now. I think this is just, you know, we're waiting to get out of 2025, you know, and then metals are running up right now. But we're going to see these assets hit all-time highs and more. I mean, SHX Stronghold, massively undervalued. Massively undervalued. And then, yeah, it had a nice little run up to 3 cents. And once again, that's what, under a penny, you know, and great buying opportunity. I mean, I want millions more. You know, I hope, you know, and it's the thing when you understand the value of something, you get excited when it goes down more. And you hope that you got more money so you can get millions more of it. I hope Super goes down to a 0.001. Please let it go down to 1.0. I'm selling stuff, okay? I'm telling you. Like, I love these prices right now because you got to understand the technology. You got to understand the use case. You got to understand the community. You got to understand its need in the real world, the partnerships, What's going to make it valuable. And then when you see that, when you make all the correlations and then you see the price, you're saying, hold on. This is how Warren Buffett gets wealthy. Warren Buffett knows how to analyze a stock, sees it's undervalued. Nobody's talking about it. He buys a shitload of it, and then it rises in value. He makes money because he's ahead of the market. You want to be ahead of the market. Too many times people are in the market and not ahead of the market. You got to get ahead of the market. That's how you win. So we're talking about getting ahead of the market right now by buying these assets that are appearingly to be down when really they're just in a buying, screaming opportunity.
Yeah, last one I'll look at here, guys, is again, just so people understand, like how crypto works and, market cycles and liquidity and whatnot, right? This is Avalanche, okay? Avalanche is a top 20 crypto. I mean, guys, look at this. Oh, sorry, I'm not showing it right now. I mean, when you see a token that's been around for a few cycles, it's solid tech. People are building on it. I mean, look, guys, look at this. It's basically as low as you can go at $12 for Avalanche. This thing has hit $146 before, sitting basically at its all-time low. So again, do your own research, but for me as a believer, I know blockchain and crypto are the future. And when I see quality, valuable products, right? Because we focus on value, sitting at basically all-time lows, right? Whether it's Avalanche, Tau, Supra, SHX, Texit, right? This is when smart money doubles down and goes against the grain. And that is what gets rewarded. You get rewarded in the bear markets when things are down, not when things are pumping through the ceiling.
Yeah, I mean, even ABAX, and if you pull up Kronos, and which I'm bullish on them, partnership with Trump, they're going to be big bank time, Kronos. And I'm just telling you, I mean, they did like 80 cents or so in the last bull cycle, and they're just going to be massive as well. Kronos, crypto.com, in my opinion, and some meme coins on there, but
basically all-time low.
Yeah, all-time low buy zone. And that's not the value of crypto.com. It's not the value of crypto.com. It's not. When the price is not reflecting the value of crypto.com right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, guys, it comes down to you going against the grain, right? Going against what most people are doing. We've told you guys this time and time again. The idea you're going to work and trade your time for money and send your extra dollars to Wall Street to a 401k to make 9% a year while inflation is really 9% a year and you think you're going to get ahead, that's a lie. I'm sorry you grew up and they told us that. The quicker you realize it and break out of that matrix, the better off you're going to be. Alternative investments, right, to me are the only way to go. It's the only way to get ahead. Do you got to have patience? Do you have to think long term? Of course, right? As we always say, guys, this is not a get rich quick scheme. It's a get wealthy slowly.
That's right. So I mean, look, folks, we've been documenting, and we're going to continue to document the system and collapse. And everything that we're seeing are symptoms of a system and collapse. But make no mistake, for those that have eyes to see, ears to hear, okay, and who take action, more importantly, a wealthy family will come from you if you didn't come from a wealthy family. Don't fumble this. Don't sell too early. Make sure you hold your assets. Make sure you keep your crypto on your decentralized wallets. Okay, we're going to see a lot of things in 2026 that people just couldn't have imagined. I think we are at a breaking point. I mean, silver is at $72 an ounce. What?
Wow.
That's like saying.
Hold on. Let me pull this up. We just hit another all-time high.
Yeah, that's like Bitcoin at 125, like when it was at $3 grand.
72.31 right now. 72.31. Wait. Oh.
No, it's it's gonna get there.
I thought we had 4.7 trillion and just crossed the video, but
no, it's almost there. It's almost there.
Woo.
Yeah. Oh yeah, $72, folks. Once we break past 75, we're gonna go
75. I heard was the next.
Yeah, straight to 100. I mean, we're going to 100. You know, because these are psychological numbers. But understand something. This is historic. There is no price discovery. There is no support. There's no resistance level. We are trying to figure, and I'm telling you, who's leading the race right now is China. It's the East. And all the metal is flowing from the West to the East. And they know about the rigging. They know about the manipulation. They know the value. They're projecting things 5, 10, 15, 20 years out for the strategicness of their success in their economy and in the global economy. Because you can see right now there's division and uncertainty. There's no uniformity and there's no real international rule of law. There is no real cooperation. Things are breaking down in a way that we haven't seen before. The world order is shifting right before our eyes. And so you have to be strategic so that you can last. And this might last for a decade when it really pops off. But understand something, we're going into 2026. Silver is at $72 plus an ounce. It's going to go to hundreds of dollars. There is no current ceiling. People have projections, 200, 300, 600, 700. Folks, it could go much higher. It can go much, because you know what? Panic's going to kick in. You know how FOMO kick in. People right now FOMOing at $72. They FOMOing, trying to buy silver and lock in silver prices before they don't be able to get anything. Wait till you start to hear other companies deciding to lock up silver for the next couple of years or buy up miners. You're going to start to hear and see things that are just going to make this market go crazy, because we've been living in a fairy tale, the twilight zone.
Yeah.
This hasn't been a real economy. This hasn't been a real market. There's been no real price discovery for assets at all. This is a rigged, managed, and manipulated market. The whole thing, even right now, it's still rigged, managed, and manipulated. We're seeing it break out and break the chains of manipulation. The tide is turning. But understand something, we're going to see things that we've never seen before. So get prepared. Get prepared. Put yourself in position, lock in the assets. Make sure you're running with the runners. Okay, make sure you're accumulating these assets, because we're gonna keep winning. We're gonna keep documenting. So be blessed, be safe, have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, all that good stuff.
That's right.
And going to 2026. Look, if you're thinking of making anything less than $1 million in 2026, you're thinking too small. Okay, you're thinking too small if you're thinking of making anything less than $1 million in 2026. Lace up. Let's get wealthy. Lock in.
Peace, guys. Merry Christmas. We love you.